Here we are. We're very excited, and we have, Dimple ma'am. Interestingly enough, working with her was an experience that I did not have because I don't have any role. Like I've not worked with her, but just like boom, to see myself in a promo was just like, I'm in a promo with Dimple Kapadia. That feels great. When I started shooting, I was 7 months pregnant and I went all the way to the end, my 36th week. Like there were days I couldn't tie my own shoelace because, my belly would come in the way. And as the cop, I was wearing shoes with those laces and I had to get someone else to help me. And because I couldn't bend, I still remember Atul would help me with the chair. I still remember I have these 2 beautiful crowns that I got from Miss India. And one day I want to my daughter's in this phase where she loves playing with like all princessy dresses and crowns and tiaras. I think I'm going to celebrate my 20 years by putting the crown on her head. Although she already has an invisible one, but she'll love this. It may have taken me 20 years to realize this. God, I have goosebumps while talking to you about it because no one's asked me this and I've never answered so carefully. I mean, now it may have taken me this long to come to this point to realize that only good things have happened. Mad. I don't even want to lie to you. It's crazy. It's like one goes out of the room, the other one comes crying. One goes, and then, oh my God, at 8:15 when I'm putting both of them off to sleep at 8 o'clock. So by 8:15, it's like one is over here and one is over here. And I'm just like, my world.
Hi Neha, welcome to Pink Villa.
Thank you very much, Avinash.
Even before we start talking about the film and your character, I want to tell you, I saw the trailer of A Thursday and I think it's very, very intriguing, impactful and powerful. These are the 3 words that I use to describe the trailer. But what makes me really happy about this is this all-woman dominated cast. It just makes me really happy to see a film like that, which is coming out very soon. Was this one of the attractions for you as well when you signed the script?
Avinash, I'm going to be honest, the Prime Minister's part was not cast. And when I was on board, I know that Yami was cast. There were conversations about who's going to be playing the part that Atul was playing. And I think Maya was cast by then, or in talks or on the verge of finalization. But, I feel like I was a part or a reason for the building blocks to like come together. It's like Yami was cast and Maya was cast and I was cast. And it's just like the right thing to do was to cast a female prime minister as well. And then, go ahead with this. And I really apologize to all the men who are being considered for this part. I mean, but, here we are. We're very excited. And we have, Dimple ma'am. Interestingly enough, working with her was an experience that I did not have because I don't have any role. Like I've not worked with her, but just like boom, to see myself in a promo was just like, I'm in a promo with Dimple Kapadia. That feels great.
Yeah, I agree with you. And like I said, there's Dimple Kapadia, there's Neha Dubey, and there's Yami Gautam. Such a stellar cast. I'm really looking forward to the film on Thursday. You play a cop in the film and you played a cop recently in Sanak also. As a performer, how do you differentiate your performances when you play characters like this?
I feel that, it doesn't matter. So there are enough and more times that you could be playing sort of a homemaker in 2 films, or there could be enough and more times that you could be playing a doctor in 2 different films. So it's like, what is actually the background of that, kind of character that you're playing is what defines you. So, I play the character of ACP Catherine Alvarez, and she's a lot more feisty. She's extremely risk-taking, and that's what differentiates her. The call of duty is way, way more important. And that's why, she's 8 months pregnant and she's in a hostage situation. If she's attending to that, so obviously call of duty is important. And I feel like I had a lot more in common with her, because when I was really 8 months pregnant and I was still going to work, I think being a little more feisty or risk-taking, these are things that come to me. I wouldn't want to say naturally, but it's a part of who I am. So I'd say that I relate to her much more.
Absolutely. And I was just coming to that, like you rightly said, you were pregnant when you were playing the part. It must be a very difficult time. How did you deal with it?
It was tough. I had and I can say it now, and maybe I may even put it out there a little more than I am via an interview and even on my page. Just the truth of playing the part, at a personal level, if my call time was 8 a.m., I mean, every pregnancy is different. My second pregnancy, I had too much morning sickness. So I would wake up at 5:36 and just be throwing up, and sometimes, and you can't put a time to it. You don't know when you're actually going to start throwing up and when you're actually going to stop. So I would give it an hour because I didn't want to be late on set. Or like, when I started shooting, I was 7 months pregnant and I went all the way to the end, my 36th week, to like, because I delivered in my 40th week, but 36 weeks is considered, full term. And I remember like I was going up like one size and then I went up literally 2 sizes because my baby kept having one growth spurt after another. Like there were days I couldn't tie my own shoelace because, my belly would come in the way. And as the cop, I was wearing shoes with those laces and I had to get someone else to help me. And because I couldn't bend, I still remember Atul would help me with the chair. So first he would get me one chair. Then after that, I was like, I can't bend that low. So then it was 2 chairs. Then once there was a joke crack, like, "Abhi madam ke liye 4 chair lekar aao," because she can't move, because I just couldn't. And I was talking to someone right now and they said that, I can't remember the name of the actress, but she's from Collateral. And, she was also pregnant when she was on set. And as a pregnant person, just to make sure that everyone around you knows that your pregnancy is not your weakness, but your pregnancy is your strength. You have to give it your 200%. You have to make sure that you're always there on time, because you've been hired. I can't turn around after a point and say that, listen, I'm pregnant, so I can't do this, or I'm pregnant, I can't do this. Yes, physically we had to cut down a chase sequence and we made the other people run, and then I went and I still beat up the bad guys. Because when you're pregnant, you don't lose your strength. Maybe you lose the ability to run as fast or do the chase. And that's what Behzad and me decided. He's like, it's not going to make you weaker. Maybe you can't run, but we'll get you to beat them up. So I was just like, yay. But you really have to work or operate at a level where you walk in and you always are the strongest person in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. Women-centric films have been made for a while. And we've been doing that, and we've been doing that very well. But what's new and what I really notice is, so for earlier example, a woman-centric film used to have a lead character who used to have the major screen time. But now other characters also have equally well-written, brought out parts. Do you think that the writing has changed in that sense, that everyone in the cast can play important roles? Like in Badhai Ho, according to me, Neena Ji is the lead. Do you agree to that?
I agree to everything that you're saying. I also think that, this was me 10 years ago, and I was screaming from rooftops that the day the industry becomes a place where we worship our writers, we cherish and we put them on a pedestal and respect what they do, is when we're going to start bringing out great content. And that's where we are right now, between OTT and between theaters opening. Earlier we used to say, nahi, kaun itna ticket kharchega aur lekar jayega. We on subscribership, now. So it's not just ticket. It's also time. Do I want to give 2 hours? I'm anyway paying my $4.99, right? So do I want to pay that money? So how are you going to take something away from me, which is free and priceless? It's my time, right? So I just feel like great content, great writing, and you can't fool anyone. Like, if you're a great product, the world will find you, because of social media, because of surround sound, because of so much of cheer around or celebrating great content. But if you're a poor product, you can scream from rooftops. We're still not going to press the remote, or we're still not going to turn our phones on to watch you. So that's why, it's high time we understand that the writer is the most important person. And then, of course, the director and the cast. If you don't have a great product that you're out there to make, no one's buying it anymore.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Neha, but I always feel there's much more to you than an actor. I think you have an inclination towards probably a direction or writing. Is that true?
I have an inclination towards applying my mind. So my problem is, like, my husband always says this to me. He's like, everything is fine. Just sometimes don't over intellectualize anything. Sometimes even before we're going into a room, he's like, we're just going to have a drink. We're just going to hang with people. Abhi yahan pe na, ye off kar de. So, let's just go and... But I'm just like, my problem is, and I get that a lot. Like yesterday we were shooting for some show and they were like, ye saying, ye sponsor kiya gaya hai, aur aap dekhiye, ye sponsorship, this will be available in the market from 21st of Feb. And everyone said, okay, thank you, this thing. I said, nahi, but there are some 50 people directing the show and 80 people as extras and, on set. Do you understand the show is going to air now in 4 days? And if you're going to say the thing that you're selling is already there in the market, तो वो तो आगे निकल गई ना आपने date. Then they started calling the writer and all that. They were like, बहुत ध्यान से सुनते हैं सब. So I have to stop doing this, and because of that, everyone had to be called back, then we had to reshoot the end link
God.
again, and they were like, "Ye Neha ko kya problem?" I said, "I think that sometimes I need to turn off." But will I direct? Will I do anything else? I mean, production is something that I do with my podcast.
Yes.
But I mean, you want to do many things, but definitely, I mean, direction's not on the cards at all. Like I think I have a long way to go for that. I just feel I don't have it.
You have the leadership quality that the captain of the ship really needs on the set. So I think.
I mean, I could like have ideas, but I don't think I have that. I think the impression of me is far better painted than who I actually am. I'm not that bright.
You are underestimating yourself. Neha, correct me if I'm wrong, but you won your Miss India crown in September 2002.
In January 2002.
January 2002. So this year you completed 20 years of winning the crown? 2 decades?
Yeah.
How does
That's
it feel?
mad.
20 years, how does it feel? When do you look back at your journey today?
I mean, the only one who still thinks that I'm beautiful is my daughter. Today, when I went to pick her up from school, she's like, "Mama, why are you looking so beautiful? Why are you dressed like a princess?" Because I wore this kaftan, and I was just like, she was very like, I still remember I have these 2 beautiful crowns that I got from Miss India. And one day I want to like, my daughter's in this phase where she loves playing with like all princessy dresses and crowns and tiaras. I think I'm going to celebrate my 20 years by putting the crown on her head. Although she already has an invisible one, but she'll love this.
How do you look back at this journey though? Are you happy?
Avinash, for me, like operated a frequency that's very, I've never been right on top. And at the same time, I've never been down and out.
Yes.
I feel like if you haven't seen such extremes when it comes to success and failure, and you learn how to operate at a level where you can balance between the two and, have personal dreams and goals and professional aspirations. It may have taken me 20 years to realize this. God, I have goosebumps while talking to you about it because no one's asked me this and I've never answered so carefully. I mean, now it may have taken me this long to come to this point to realize that only good things have happened. You know what I mean? Like, touch wood, like the fact that I'm here, I'm talking to you, you're still interested. You're probably like, when I must have won Miss India, you're probably like, I don't even know, like, been much younger or read in a paper. There was no social media or just like, send okay or put your cup of tea on my face on the newspaper. I don't know where you must have been, but here you are. Like in your head, you must have not thought I'm going to speak to this woman, and I would have not thought I'm speaking to you, but I'm doing cinema and I'm, I have children and I have a wonderful man I'm married to who's from the business, and we've advanced from like putting news out in the newspaper to like sitting here to like doing promotional tours to like sitting in front of a light and talking virtually to anybody around the world and talking about cinema. Lots has happened. But the fact that I'm still existing in the business just speaks in my head, not in anyone else's, but just speaks volumes in my own head that I must have done something right over the past 2 decades.
I can resonate with what you say. I really can. You became a mother again in October last year. How has the last few months been with Bedi Saab?
Mad. I don't even want to lie to you. It's crazy. It's like one goes out of the room, the other one comes crying. One goes to sleep. And then, oh my God, at 8:15 when I'm putting both of them off to sleep at 8 o'clock. So by 8:15, it's like one is over here and one is over here. And I'm just like, my word, this is what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm absent at a lot of evening events now because I'm probably putting my kids off to bed. So when you see Angad, please feel free to write captions like Angad Bedi spotted here while Mama's putting kids off to bed. Or if you see me solo, you can say Neha Dhupia spotted here while Angad Bedi is putting kids off to bed, because we're very good at dividing duties.
I'm sure. Wow. This also reminds me, one last thing I have to ask you. You recently spoke about Ranvijay not being part of the next season of Roadies. Will you be a part of it?
No, this year I am not going to be a part of Roadies either. I think more than me, I think it's just heartbreaking to see Ranvijay not being a part of it. Obviously, reasons are best known to him and to the network. I love the show. I have always loved the show, and a large part of loving the show is Ran. And he's always been a very, very dear friend of mine. He'll continue to be. And I have another dear friend of mine who's stepped into his shoes, and I wish him all the best. Sonu has, and he's also a very dear friend. So But like
Why
they
you
say,
not doing it?
reasons best known to me and the network.
Sure, I'm sure the fans are going to miss you on the show. But thank you so much. Neha.
Never
This
say
was
never.
Yes, absolutely. Never say never.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Neha. This was a lovely conversation. I hope you have a good day ahead.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye.